Good to see everyone on a Monday, episode 81 of the Monday Night Live on cricket.com. My name is Avanish, and as you can see, as always on this podcast, we have two gentlemen in the names of Akshay Swami and Nikhil Popat. There's so much to talk about. As the thumbnail suggests, the title suggests, we're going to deep dive into the Test squad. We're going to, of course, talk about India's WTC and how it looks this cycle. And more importantly, we'll address matters here and now in the IPL because top two is still for grabs. There's Punjab, Mumbai going on, so you guys can watch it later. But first and foremost, introductions to the panel. Nikhil Popat, you've been having a good weekend with CSK winning first. Their batting has come to the fore.
Yeah, I mean, CSK and SRH have ended how I thought they'll play the entire tournament. So some validation there, but also a lot of learnings, not just for me, but for the teams. And happy that I got that fastest run right as well. It was very pleasing to see something that I thought on 20th April came good on 25th May, that we could have a fastest run. And who better than Klassen to really tick that off. So grateful for that.
Yeah, both the South Indian teams doing well from that regard. But Akshay, all eyes on Punjab, Mumbai right now, which we'll give our first impressions to. But how's your weekend? Obviously, we did a bunch of watch-alongs, but you did anything else? You went to a pizza place. Tell the viewers about that.
Yeah, went to Seen on Us. I heard a lot of good things about them. Sardu, pizzas and whatnot. Caught up with Shomi, like I said yesterday. Nice meeting her as well. Spoke about a lot of things, cricket and whatnot. And yeah, baki to watch along apna chalta hai, office cricket chalta hai. It's good that we've now started playing office cricket a lot more regularly. So that definitely gives us one more reason to just stay back till about 1 or 1:30 in the night.
Cheating karta hai, but theek hai.
Yeah, it is just a part-time sort of cup of tea, literally in that sense. But Mumbai 54 for 1 as we speak. We'll get into the thoughts of Punjab and MI first. But before that, always good to be gracious to our guys in the chat. Now, Guy Ritchie XXO saying, we'll be missing the live show as I work and live near Birmingham. But guys, honestly, tell me if you think India can win here. We'll get our thoughts to that. And I'll be also reviewing the England-Zimbabwe test with the boys. Ria Jaiswal, always good to see you. Agree with Avanish in office vibes. Nair has to play, otherwise 0 point and bring him back from Winterland. We'll again get into our topics there. You must have obviously seen so many things we've already said in the watch along. Forget office vibes, and we'll get Nick's thoughts on it as well. Nick's also spoke about it in that live show. If you guys didn't check it out, check it out. It has so much in it as well. Viva Amarin, is that a new name? Boys, what are your 11s for England? Avanish, I saw you in Sri Lanka. Do you remember me in Hikadua? Love, brother. I honestly don't know who you are.
I don't think he wants details right now or not. So I think he's very scared of asking for details.
Both times I've gone to Sri Lanka in my life, I've gone with friends. One for a wedding more recently, which I didn't go to Hikadua. So I think he's talking about 2018, but that's really bizarre. But look, love from you, and I'm guessing you're a United fan and IPL fan. So props to you, man. And Santosh Urpa, who's regular in the chat, saying, is it only me who hasn't enjoyed IPL since the restart? Or yeah, it feels a little bit not catching fire. Essentially, many teams were, of course, just anyway playing for pride, if I have to put it that way. HS saying same here. Nikhil Bhai, Jai Ramji Ki saying Preetham, and Sports Infinity from Twitter saying correct the spelling on title on X. If our social media guys are watching and a producer, please hint them if we've made any mistake. It's been corrected. And man, you feel bad for the Europa League draws. That's a complete different chapter, which I've, of course, decided to go into football coma. Let me put it that way. Come back in August. We'll see. Hopefully, United can sign some players. They've already gone to Malaysia. The fucking season's not ended, and it's ridiculous. Hello to Tanbir. Hello to all you other boys. And Preetham asking, will Arshdeep be part of the first 11, playing 11? We have that ready. We'll show to you. We'll talk to you about it. I certainly want him. Let's get the boys and what they think about it. Chiku Ji saying, hey, guys. Abbas Kunde, who's a Mumbai fan, asking us who's winning this game. What if I tell you Mumbai is not winning? I mean, would you like me? Would you like me more? I honestly think whoever wins, I don't care, because Punjab win, I know my friend will give it to me. And if Mumbai win, then I know Mumbai fans will just be on me as well. How's the pitch behaving? Ask Kira. What should be the target? Is the ball stopping a bit here? We'll talk about that then. Perfect segue to get into Punjab versus Mumbai right now. And Akshay, I'll start with you here. What's your gut feel, man? It's in Jaipur. Shreyas Iyer winning the toss, batting first. How do you think this game is going to ebb and flow? Rohit and Surya still there as we speak.
Yeah, It looks like a very typical Jaipur surface in the way it started so far. Of course, there's a very heavy breeze blowing, something that Shreyas Iyer alluded to at the toss as well. One of the biggest reasons behind them opting to bowl first, apart from, of course, the venue itself favoring the side chasing and all of it. And you could see that the very first over that Arshdeep bowled, he was swinging it both ways to Ryan Rickleton. I would say that was a tad bit unlucky, probably कि वो new ball के साथ एक भी wicket मिला नहीं. But that's been Punjab's case in the last few games. They've not really been adept in picking up wickets in the power play. Thankfully, they've managed to get Brian Nicholson's innings in the bud. And wow, that's some sweep there from Surya Kumar Yadav, who, by the way, has been sweeping left, right, and centre. I remember coming across a stat earlier today where apparently Sky has scored the most runs off a sweep shot in an IPL season ever. Like, this is the most runs he scored in one season. This going on to show when Sky is in full flow. That's something he always resorts to again, spin especially. That's his go-to shot always. And he is able to execute those sweeps across lengths. Maybe this is almost a Yorker, and the guy still manages to find a way to sweep it to deep mid-wicket. So good on it. But surface to batter friendly है भाई 180 190 कम से कम, that's par I would say, and MI should be looking for 200 according to me. I really think runs are up for grabs even now, despite them not having started so well. I think Rohit himself not starting to well played a big role there.
Interesting. Mumbai, I think, just making the one change in terms of the impact sub. Ashwini Kumari might come in the second innings. That's what Hardik Pandya indicated the toss. Now, at the toss, Shreyas Iyer next mentioned Punjab changes. Vishak and Jameson in the playing scheme of things. A word in Punjab, because obviously we saw GT limp into the playoffs, which we'll talk about in like 4 or 5 minutes. But in Punjab, really quickly, how important is this game for them? And what does it do for them if they do lose? Does it really kind of put them off mentally more than anything else?
I think it's very interesting time because every team's worst scenario is what is happening right now. You understand how GT is that is something that we kept saying for GT. What is the top order doesn't click, and what happens at the end because there's no death bowlers. With Punjab, you've always felt and again, no shameless plug here, but in the heroes, the inconsistency was the part with Punjab. The bowling lacks that depth, and see, for all that matter, you can win. But Hardy, Bartlett, yes, sir, IPL ke liye, they are not names that will obviously get the job done. So Omarzai has had to bear the brunt today of him not being used well. He's being used as a number 8, number 9 batter, and then he's being used as a power play specialist. Fair, but then bowling at the back end, I don't think that is his best role. So it is good that they at least have this game to see what Vaishak can do, who we remember saved them one game against JT. So they'll have to find that options because apart from Harshdeep, everybody else looks hittable. So the next 2 venues are also going to be Mulanpur and Ahmedabad. And we see what happened with GT also. If you don't take new ball wickets, it is very critical. So I think the time is now for Punjab's overseas signings to really step up because I think the Indian contingent has done as much as they can. I would actually go on to say they've overpowered and they've over-delivered. I mean, imagine 5 people scoring 250 and more and none of them being overseas. I mean, how much more will they do? So I think it's a good thing for Punjab if they get this done, like how it was for DC yesterday. But again, a few games too late for them also.
Okay, so next, who do you think will pull out the 2 points here and then go forward? No sitting in the fence for Akshay either. And I mean, I'll give my prediction. Is it MI? Is it Punjab?
I think so far Punjab have done well to keep Mumbai in the game. Now, the challenge for Mumbai is going to be they got that 48 runs in the last 2 overs in the last game. Now, can they do that again? Can they get to that score of 180, 190? Because I think that will be enough with the bowling that Mumbai had. And there was swing. And I still feel Bolt ka ek random magical spell is left. So I don't know if that will come today or later, but I think Jamieson will take a wicket in this over. But that will keep that for later. But I think Mumbai slight favourites if they have wickets in and 190 on board.
Okay. Akshay, I think many people might want to ask you this. From an RCB perspective, who are you hoping for? Because obviously you have an eye on tomorrow's game, which will also preview. But MI Punjab from an RCB perspective and then from your perspective tonight.
I mean, to be clear, the result of tonight's game will have no bearing on RCB's finish. So just to put that out there, I would personally want to see Punjab go through just, that would ensure that at least one, first-time winner would potentially be, at least एक तो, non-title winner, so to say, will be a part of the finals. That is the sort of greater good that I'm looking at. बाकी कोई भी जीता RCB को, it doesn't make a difference. So if MI wins, I'm also fine with that, because then that would mean RCB has to defeat MI. So वो भी एक नहीं होगा, जैसा अवनीश बोल रहा था ना कि आज पंजाब को हरा के कौन फाइनल पहुंचा, मुंबई को भी हरा देंगे. So that there's basically things to look forward to in both cases. So I'm fine either way. But low-key hoping that Punjab go through, not because of anything. That's still I think they are the more informed team, so to say, between the two sides. But now I'll be backing them, because, like I said, I'd much rather have a new winner any day of the week. And about, of course, the game itself and, who could potentially win. One thing I'd say is, so far, 6 games in Jaipur, 3 apiece. 3 have been won by the team batting first, 3 have been won by the team chasing. But 2 of those 3 games that the team batting first has won were very close defeats. And are, of course, the team, in contention. One was a 2-run loss, the other was a 10-run loss. The only time the team batting first registered a comprehensive victory was Mumbai Indians. 100-run victory against Rajasthan Royals, if you remember that game. So they know a thing or two about going well over your batting first. They've done that just a couple of weeks ago. So they might be backing themselves to do it again right now.
Okay, interesting. Let's see how both these teams go into the playoffs per se, because I know they all had Qs in the name earlier. And Nikhil, by your first Twitter prediction means Punjab will be 15 or 20 for 3. And Preetham saying that. Last game, they were a bowler shot, saying Abbas Kunde, and Cricket for saying gut feel Punjab Kings might just win tonight. Really hope for a close game tonight. He follows up that. And he says, bro, I heard Salt won't be available for the playoffs. We'll come to that. We'll answer all your other questions with regards to the topics that we're talking about, so on and so forth. Kira has one more on this matter. At the toss, officials said it's a belter of a pitch, but it's not looking that good of a batting pitch. Punjab's bowling is good. I mean, credit to Punjab's bowlers. Jameson's playing his first game tonight, so he started off not that bad, even though Skies just pelted him for 6. MI in 7 to 10 is very low run rate, I think. But look, keep your comments coming us and keep giving us, updates. It's not like we don't need any, because we all have our television screens on. But let's talk about the next topic in terms of the IPL that we want to talk about tonight before we go into all the test match things. It's a Mumbai Indians related topic, and it's an RCB related topic. And invariably, we're all asking this, Akshay. What's your gut feel? RCB-MI final?
I think it'll be an RCB Punjab final. Yeah, one of a kind. When was the last time we saw 2 teams that haven't won a title contending the final? I think it was 2016 when RCB played SRH. So it's been 10 seasons since that happened. So I guess it's time to see one such final. But RCB-MI will also be one of a kind. 2 of the top 3 featuring in a final. It's been 6 years since that happened. But I think it'll be RCB Punjab.
Nix, where are you on the finals? I mean, because obviously it could be a GT Punjab final, right? So many people think, this is a poll that was conducted earlier in the week, all the stoppages, and when RCB and MI qualified. A lot of people maybe sentiment and want that blockbuster final, but how true will it be? And what do you think will happen? Because you have an active prediction thing.
No, that should I do, but I don't think I have any gut feel on the final, because I expected GT to steamroll to the qualifier one. I think it was like a given to me that ye ek aur game to jeet hi jayenge. But for that to not happen, and for Butler to go, I think that really put me in a spot ke I don't know. GT will need proper Nehra Juju to come good and go. And the reel that you spoke about you saying ke I want a side to win from number 4. I think the only team that will have entire juju for that is GT at this point of time, because even in 2016, SRH lost their last 2 games. And then they went on to win like that. So if Mumbai win, then of course Mumbai, I feel, will most likely win the final, because I said they'll most likely win the final. I did not want to say it that way. I don't know if that is the case. But because if Mumbai, whenever they've finished 3rd or 4th, they've never made the finals. Whenever they finish 1st or 2nd, they played 6 finals. So I think Mumbai will play. The other team at this point in time, I have no clue, because there is clear problems with Punjab, and RCB have had a few people losing form very, very badly now in terms of not getting that impactful knock from Rajat. Jitesh ka bhi firing aaya hai, but we don't know about Team David as well. Hazelwood is back, but you need those runs also to overpower teams. So I think it's a good thing for the tournament that it is so open right now.
Yeah, I would
And
think.
Mijal, thanks for correcting me. RRGT, of course, was also a final where we had two teams. But RR has... Wait, RR to jeeta hai na bhai. Mijal, kya baat kar raha hai, bro? Very sorry. Then no, I don't stand corrected. I was right. Continue.
Yeah, I think with my predictions, I think RCB will reach the final. I don't want to sound like a cocky guy saying that. I just generally think I have a vibe this season. If it's not an RCB final with anyone else, I think it'll be GTMI. So sorry, Punjab fans, if I'm literally kind of not siding with y'all, but that's how I see it. Cricket for saying, yeah, I kind of agree with Akshay. Look, qualifier once and eliminator being played in Mulampur, which gives a huge advantage to Punjab Kings, although their record there is not good. Nonetheless, let's see what happens. Abbas Kundi saying MI is not going to win this season. And Asim Hunt's entering the chat saying MI seems too strong if all fails. We've seen multiple times the umpires are there to favor MI favorites. A lot of you guys think that, man. It's incredible. But that's how we leave it at that one. Now, of course, RCB do play, and they play on Tuesday. And let's just have a quick preview about that. What do LSG play for apart from pride? Is Nicholas Puran going to just torment RCB again? Nick, I'll let you go first ball in this. Do you think RCB, first of all, can make it 7 wins? Some team has never done that. No team has done that, I should say, that in the history of the IPL. So do you think it can be done on Tuesday night at the Ekana?
Yeah, it can be done. And those reactions were for those sixes. I don't know why don't they do a live streaming of that competition, the 6-hitting competition. People will pay for it. People will pay for it. But okay. Coming back to LSG RCB, I think RCB should feel confident about that game because with LSG there is no Makram. Now, unless Pant feels ke nahi bhai, before the England tour, I want to have a hit like how Ishan Kishan had, like how Klaasen had, like how Samir Rizvi had, then you can't do anything about it. But a lot will depend on Hazelwood. I don't know if Hazelwood will play or not play. I think he'll play a massive role. But even otherwise, with the bowling that LSG have, they'll have to outbat RCB. So I think RCB should be quietly confident. But Lucknow mein black soil wicket aa gaya, so I don't know what will happen there.
Akshay, let me ask you this. I mean, Willow Rook and Nicholas Puran probably are the main threats if you just actually look at it on paper. And maybe you could throw in Digvish Rathi there, which I'll come to in a bit. How do we address the Puran threat? Is it a good way to play LSG before the 2 big games which matter, or 1 big game which matter, whichever the way you look at it? And more importantly, what's your prediction? Do you think RCB can make it 7 wins on the trot?
Yeah, I mean, they can. They definitely stand a decent chance. It's not that, I wouldn't call them outright favorites or anything, but if there was one game that they would have wanted to play as their last game, to sort of complete the streak, I don't think they would have minded LSG to be that team and Lucknow to be that venue, because Lucknow has been spoken, plenty of times during our watch-longs as well. This season has played unlike any season ever before. It's been runs galore. Of course, a lot of times they've used red soil surfaces. That's played a massive role there. For me, actually, the biggest concern isn't Puran or Digvish or I'm forgetting whose name did you mention apart from that. It's actually Mitchell Marsh up top, especially because in the game that we played last time, we struggled, with the new ball. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, that one over that he bowled to Abhishek Sharma was very bad. You can see about 17 odd runs. And if Hazelwood isn't available, we might potentially see Yash Dayal once again being given the new ball. And it is important to, sort of dismiss Mitchell Marsh in that first 10 balls period, जहाँ पे ball भी move हो रहा है, थोड़ा वो भी time लेंगे, क्योंकि एक बार वो set हो गया ना, especially in the season where he's in such a rich vein of form, he scored in excess of 500 runs, he will definitely capitalize on, whatever start he gets. So I think he'll be very crucial to LSG and consequently RCB's chances.
Okay, interesting. Next, what about Digvish Rathi? Do you think if he does get a wicket, there will be the sign-off celebration because he's playing his last game? And even if it is at the expense of the king, do you think he'll do it?
Of course, he'll do it, but God save him if he does it. Because it's unlikely that he'll not do it. Especially after having missed the game, after having paid almost so much money just because of fines. There is no reason for... I mean, Akash Singh did it for him. So what are the chances of Digvish not doing it for himself if he gets that one. But yeah, as Akshay said, I think Hazelwood plays a massive factor there. The creation, everybody else will be there, but it's about that batting from LSG which will give them that cushion. Okay, you can earn, will give you those 20, 30 extra runs to play around with. So I think for RCB, it's a good game to get somebody like a Rajat in form. I don't know what you guys feel, and I don't want to be harsh on Mayank, but I just feel RCB just need to give Rajat that number 3 spot. Okay, bhai, give it to him. His entry points, whenever he's done well in the past, have always been back into the power play. With no Devdutt, I think it's very evident that you'll have to send Rajat. I understand if you lose in the first, second overs, then you send Mayank. I'm okay with it. But I think it is something we've spoken right through the season. Okay, sometimes RCB have been very rigid that even in the 8th or the 9th over, they've sent Devdutt. जिसका जरूरत नहीं है at all points of time. And now when you need Rajat in form, given there is also going to be the bigger batting impact guy. So I think it's important that Rajat gets some very important runs into the playoffs.
Just a final one on this LSG RCB game. Akshay, what are the permutation combinations in terms of the playing 11? Because Tim David obviously hobbled off with a hammy. Salt, there is speculation that he's expecting his firstborn. Muzarabani's come in, so is there sentimental space for him? And of course, Hazelwood. So what's your puzzle for the Ekana on Tuesday night?
Salt का I don't know man, because जितना मैंने पता लगा he is available. वो कहीं गया नहीं है, कुछ ऐसा update नहीं मिला है, officially भी कुछ बोला नहीं है. I don't even know at this point in time if what is being told is true even, or is it just some random thing that sort of came about. Firstly, so I'm just going to assume that Salt is available. Secondly, about the bowling bit, Ngidi isn't there. Muzarabani is available for selection as well because Ngidi was scheduled to fly out. That won't be an issue. Tim Seifert is also available for what it's worth. I'm also going to assume that Tim David won't be available. Because even if he's fit, I would imagine RCB would want to give him a bit of a break before the playoffs begin, irrespective. I know it is important that they finish in the top 2, but it's also important to ensure that they don't overwork their players. And that did look pretty bad. The way he just couldn't move, he couldn't run at all in the fag end of the last game. So I'm just going to assume he's also not available. Instead of Ngidi, I would bring in Tushara actually. I'm not looking at Muzarabani. I would love to see Muzarabani, and I think he would be more of a like-for-like replacement that way when it comes to what Ngidi or Hazelwood did. That height factor, getting that extra bounce, hitting those hard links and all of it. But I think Nuwan Tushara would be a better bet right now. And like I mentioned the other day, he's played only 4 games so far, 2 against LSG, 2 against KKR. He's taken a 3-4 against both LSG and KKR. So matlab phir se Lucknow ke samne, in Lucknow, so maybe that might also favor him a bit. And also I feel in the power play, he has that knack of, just taking the ball away. It is slightly unique in that he's not your conventional slinger. He's not a conventional round arm bowler like your Pathirana or Malika. It sounds weird saying conventional round arm. मतलब वो fag end वाला death bowler नहीं है. वो new ball के साथ swing कराता है. So that is unique. So I feel RCB should get a lot more value there. So I would hope that they do that.
Okay. Pavan Suresh saying hi. Good to see you. Good to see everyone entering the chat. A couple of ones with regards to this particular game, the LSG RCB game. Freaking awesome saying if RCB will win the toss, they should bat first at the Ekana. If you guys don't know, Freaking Awesome is a guy who basically lends his stats and numbers. So I tend to agree with Freaking Awesome here. Asiman saying, what does it say about the LSG coaching staff if Digvijay keeps on being a repeat offender? It tells me that they want to allow their team to wear their heart on the sleeve and, of course, continue doing what they are doing. I mean, no coaching staff would probably intervene over there. Just be like, look, I'm not going to curtail your passion. That's how you play the game. That's how you play the game. Abbas Konde saying, RCB can play Tushar taking 2 wickets in an over. They can send Krunal. He's also there as an early wicket. And plenty of other things. Chaitanya Baga, if you just joined us, we're going to talk about this in just about 15-20 minutes from now. We still have to give you all our uncapped 11s, and I still want to just reflect on the weekend and its games in the IPL. Finally, Nikhil, good to see you as well. If RCB wins tomorrow, they will win the Q1 for sure. I mean, fingers crossed from an RCB perspective. And actually saying Tushara might keep the tradition of performing against your former franchise going. I mean, if that is there, that is there. And Pavan Suresh, if Tim Seifert comes in, who does it come in for? It can't be Tim for Tim. It has to be the Livy, or let's see how they kind of go through. Who will open with Marsh? We predicted in the watch along yesterday Ankit, that it could be Matthew Bretsky. He's not got a game. He might come in. Otherwise, they could go for the Indian option in Yuvraj Chowdhury as well. So
Yuvraj Chowdhury is there. Yeah, they've got Aryan Juyal.
I just feel it will be Pant opening and Miller coming back for his annual show.
That's wild. That is wild.
I forgot Miller didn't play the last game.
Right, let's just talk about GT a little bit, boys, for about the next 3 to 4 minutes. Because what I want to ask you all is, it's never good to go into the knockout stages with conceding 230, not once, but twice, and losing both those games, Nikhil. So how do GT look at it? Obviously, they could just be unfrazzled and be like, you know what? Now it's kind of every dog on his day. Do you think GT have good chances to win the IPL again after the stutter into the knockout stages?
Yeah, I think I spoke about it just a while back. Good wicket for Vaishak there, getting Tilak out at third man. I think they've just made their task a lot more harder than they probably think about it right now. Of course, they'll need LSG to win to secure a top 2 finish, because only then that can happen. Because again, they'll need Punjab to win also. Again, multiple combinations there. But to win 3 in a row without Josh Butler, who's done 1/3 of your job in terms of batting, it's not going to be easy. And more than the batting, I think they'll be very, very worried about the bowling, that they've suddenly tapered off in terms of getting new ball wickets with Siraj. Prasidh is the only guy who's looking like he has control. So Arshad Khan went for runs, and we've been screaming about getting that additional batter because you have too many bowlers. So sometimes having that luxury is good, but you'll have to be open to the idea that it's clearly there. A gaping hole is there for you to be exploited, and someday it will happen. So I think if GT win this from here, they will eclipse everything that GT have done in 2022 also, and even 2008 ka Shane won. Kyunki yahan se if they win 3 in a row, then I can only salute Nehraji, because it will take something incredibly special to find 3 heroes for 3 days. 1 game I can understand, 2 game is possible, but eliminator pressure is very, very different in IPL.
Yeah, it's a different cup of tea. That let's see if they can actually come to the fore. Remember, a lot of people who have tuned in right now like this particular video because we just talked about the LSG RCB game. We've spoken about even, of course, this current game going on right now. I know many people are reacting to Tilak Verma wicket. Just on the GT bit, Akshay, and I'll take a couple of comments here. GT bowling will be back on track when Siraj gets power play wickets, and GT's batting is still strong, but teams have shown that you can beat them with the scoreboard pressure. And Lodnor playing in the eliminator then, asks Abbas Kunde. And not to forget, even Jaydeep saying GT have lost in form bowlers, Butler's going, not happening. And Zenith saying this as well, GT bowling will be back on track when Siraj gets a power play wickets. If you're part of the GT coaching staff, Butler's gone, the team just conceded 2 230s, and you still have Gill and Sai in really, really good form. So pros and cons. Are you siding with GT making the final, or do you think they'll just crash out whichever game they play?
GT are essentially playing the way we all thought they would, throughout the season. I mean, at the risk of sounding a bit too harsh, I think thoda wo reversion to mean bhi hua, because it wasn't a sustainable, way of winning. आप 2-3 गेम जीत सकते हो, पूरा सीजन मतलब जीत पाना उसी टैक्टिक के साथ वो बहुत मुश्किल होता है. That's something that's happened with them, which is understandable. With Butler going, I think that's a massive loss, especially because now Gill also thoda, right, like Gill has been in good form, but the way he's been dismissed in the last couple of games, it just gives you a bit more confidence as part of the opposition. You know what? Just nip out Gill, and whoever comes in at number 3, it might be Kushal Mendes, it might be Shafqat Rutherford, whoever comes out during the playoffs, you will be a lot more confident as opposed to, say, Butler coming in. And once you know that, you know what, is centre mein main focus karta hu, then it makes Sai Sudarshan's job even more trickier, because then he realizes, you know what, I have to ensure that not just me, but the team is also moving ahead with me. So it is going to be very tricky, and I don't see GT making the finals, unfortunately, as of now.
Okay, interesting call from Akshay. Next, you echo those thoughts?
And just to add to that point, it would have been still okay for them to have those worst games if they were assured of a top 2 finish. Because then how you feel about it is, we've had the worst game out of your way. And now we have a top 2 spot, which means we can afford to have another bad game. Now that is gone out of the window completely, because I genuinely expected them to not bat Kusal at 4, at 3, push him at 4, and try and see if you can send somebody at 3 and play a pinch hitting role or something, do something funky, because they'll have to do that with no Josh Butler. But now
Was she like
the state,
indices?
कोई भी, I mean, they have plenty of such options who they can send up ke bhai jao maro. It could be Arshad Khan, it could be, and it could be Sundar, who knows, for all we know. But the problem now is the risk to reward is the ratio is completely gone out of the window because you could be knocked out. So it's going to be a very tactical battle from now on for GT. So, and they'll be waiting for these two results massively.
Only time will tell. GT are waiting with bated breath to see this game and the next game, to see if they go to, of course, Bulanpur, and who they play there, more importantly. GT will play Q1, my gut says, saying Chaitanya Baga in the chat, and Cricket for saying GT is washed, which is quite crazy. And Q2 in finals on their home ground. If they reach there, Partha Patel might just ask for a pitch favouring them, saying Samit VK. Interesting. And Shilpa, you have a good question for Nikhil about Tilak. A lot of people are asking about Tilak, but we'll save it for the 12th man segment. We'll save all the other random ones for sure, which will give Akshay and Nix at the end of the show. Zenit saying GT can chase anything under 205. And there was another call from the guy in terms of Darshan Senthil entering the chat saying, I wonder why they didn't try Shanaka at any point here. They were running 2s and 3 overseas for most of the season, and he fits in nicely. But look, his compatriot will get the chance in Kusal Mendes for Butler. So let's see if he can come in and take his chance beautifully as well. Guys, IPL playoff is fine, but let's start India Test discussion and Uncapped 11. Yes, let's get into the Uncapped 11 before we get into the IPL discussion then, because right here, right now, we are asking you, what constitutes of an Uncapped 11? Obviously, it is all the players who haven't played for their countries. Now, tongue-in-cheek, Dhoni is uncapped technically in this particular season. Now, whether we have him in 11s or not remains to be seen. So, do we go alphabetically? Do we just do eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Who wants to take first ball here, gentlemen? Uncapped 11.
Works. Either ways works.
Everyone's just like, pele up, you first, me first. So I'll tell you what, I'll go in with Akshay's 11. Let's see what he's conjured up for today, because he normally has a lot of things to say, and he has made a decent 11. I've not seen it, but here we go on the screen. So Akshay, talk to me about your selections and why you picked these 11, say 12 players.
Yeah, I mean, Vaibhav and Prabhsimran, of course, the option was there to pick someone like a Priyank Sharia, but I just, you can't look past someone like a Vaibhav Suryavanshi, man. And once again, there were plenty of uncapped openers. There was Ayush Matre as well, who did a phenomenal job of staking a claim over here. But Prabhsimran Singh has done it over 14 games, and Vaibhav Suryavanshi just, I don't know if it's the left-handed tax or what it is, but for some reason, there was something about Vaibhav that actually made me look up and notice. Like, I just could not stop watching him bat. So I've gone ahead with him. Ankush Raghuvanshi, thoda sa bias hai mera. He probably did not have the kind of season I would have wanted him to have, but I still think he's done not too badly for someone who's just playing his second season. Technically very sound, very few glaring weaknesses. That also goes in his favor. Number 4, probably playing a spot higher is Ayush Badoni, who's been primarily used as a floater by Lucknow Super Giants. I feel bad for Ayush Badoni, man. Ayush Badoni is just that, go-getter. कहाँ पे भी जो भी काम दो वो कर लेता है. थोड़ा फील्डिंग में भी यहाँ पे उधर भागो, bowling भी चाहिए तो bowling भी कर सकता है. But with the bat in hand, he's genuinely been very good. And to be able to consistently deliver despite not having any fixed position speaks a lot about, the kind of talent we're talking here. Nehal Vadera, once again, entered the tournament on the back of a very torrid smat. And it almost seemed like, it's going to continue over your first couple of games also. He didn't seem too convincing. It was fairly scratchy. But from there, once again, for him to be able to, pick up the pieces and do as well as he has, especially in the last game, the way he batted, might not have been in a winning cause, but, very, very heartening signs. A left-hand batter who can go aggressively from the get-go in the middle order. We don't have too many of them in Team India as well right now. So it's good to see someone like him do good. Aniket Verma, first season, काफी अच्छा गया भाई. मतलब जब भी मौका मिला, almost every time, at least in the first 2, 3, 4 deliveries, you would see him score a boundary. I think that there was at least just one instance of him playing 5 deliveries or more without scoring a boundary. So it was just good to see that. And he's that typical new age T20 cricketer who just has completely bought into the modern T20 mindset. So he knows that he has to attack every ball, and he's been pretty good at it. Namanveer, of course, at number 7 might be again a position lower, but I just very, very, very happy to see him do so well. And no surprises that MI chose to RTM him over someone like a Nehal Vadera. We all remember the kind of outrage that followed after MI let go of Nehal Vadera. They were like, "Kiske liye bacha rahe ho bhai RTM card?" Abhi pata lag gaya bhai kiske liye bacha rahe the wo. Done a very good job. Arshad Khan, left arm pacer, left hand batter. Bhai mere liye to bhai say that's such a rare commodity when it comes to when it comes to Indian players. So it was a choice between Vipraj Nigam and Arshad Khan. I just felt, you know what, we don't have. We need another pacer, and on top of that, someone who's a left armer would just add a lot more value. And he's actually not done too badly at all with the bat. Once again, I'll have to remind people he scored a 50 last season, and yesterday as well, the way he took on, I'm forgetting who he took on, Pati Rana, was it, or who? Do chhakke mare bhai, convincingly wo bhi. So he looked pretty good. Harpreet Brar, once again, one of those players who always goes under the radar, whose name pops up only when he plays RCB for some reason. He's done very well, man, and he's also gone on to show, you know what, left hand versus, a left arm spinner versus a left hand batter is not as one-sided a matchup as you think it is. So good to see him, sort of get his due, so to say. Digvesh Rathi, of course. Digvesh, baat karna hi bekar hai bhai, highest wicket taker for Lucknow Super Giants, and just too good across phases, even at the death. He's just made the batters, he's just kept the batters guessing, and that's been very, very good to see. Prince Yadav, a bowler I genuinely enjoyed watching. For some reason, Lucknow did not give him enough chances. I thought that they probably, I don't know if it's an injury concern or what happened with him, but I thought he deserved to get at least a few more games, if not play the entire season itself. And lastly, Akash Madhwal, thoda sa had recency bias there, but I really, oh my goodness, Vaishak. Oh my goodness. I really liked his spell against, who was it? RR versus, I want to say CSK, if I'm not wrong, last group stage game, where he won the player of the match. बहुत अच्छे से ball डाला. In fact, yeah, I was CSK, right? That ball to, that last over that he bowled, the way he bowled to Dhoni too. Very good to see. So, yeah, that caps off my Uncapped 11.
Okay, interesting selections. You've left out a couple of names which might be in Nix's 11. Let's see what he's gone for. Many people in the chat saying Vipraj Nigam. I know I have Vipi in my team. I don't have Dhoni. I don't have Sandeep Sharma, for all you people just trying to be funny in the chat. Cricket for not liking Akshay's team. You're entitled to your opinion. And instead of Akash Madhwal, I would have gone for Anshul Kamboj. Let's see if those names feature in Nikhil's 11 or my 11. There was, of course, even Weber Baroda, who's got, 16 wickets this year. So lots of uncapped names. Let's see who features in Nikhil's then. Nikhil, talk to me about your selections here.
Yeah, I think the bowling core is same. Probably also the batting one. But yeah, Priyansh opens for me with Prabh Simran. Best opening pair of this IPL and deservedly there. Ayush Mehta has to bat at 3, but that's okay. Happy to give him there. I have no idea why Amit Verma and Simi Singh would be in this graphic.
What are these names? Did you go for Samarjeet Singh?
No, this is Shashank Singh and Aniket Verma. But ठीक है. ये कोई ना कोई तो producer साहब या कोई तो बेचता ही है. So this time I am the one who sold there. So yeah, Ayush Mehta at number 3, Vadera 4 again. Akshay, reason for Vadera. I think Shashank Singh has done a lot more, and hence he's in my lineup at number 5. Thought a lot about Namandir, but I think there is time with Namandir. So uske baare mein वापस will come to him in the future times. And Aniket Verma, as Akshay also alluded to me, the bowling mein there is 2 more names in terms of differentials. I've gone for Vipraj Nigam because by very यार कोई नहीं है इंडिया में लेग स्पिनिंग ऑलराउंडर who can bat and hit 4s, bat and hit 6s. So I think he straight away walks into my team. And Anshul Kamboj, because the bowling, if you see otherwise, it's very back end heavy. You need a pacer to bowl 3, potentially 4 if you want in the first 7 types. So yeah, Anshul Kamboj there for new ball wickets, and then Akash Madhwal, Prince, and 3 spinners in the middle of us. So Actually, it's not a bad team, and could be fun if we have such tournaments. But yeah, Simi Singh को कौन लगता है?
It's not Simi Singh. I
I
mean, not
even
the cricketer.
I
Not the
messaged.
cricketer.
I went out of my way and messaged के भाई spelling देख लेना मैंने जो भेजा है.
That's wild. That's honestly wild. Right, cricket for saying I would add Yash Dayal, thoughts Avanish, Nix, Akshay. Well, if Yash Dayal features in my 11 cricket, would you side with me automatically? Remember, we gave our names to the producer literally yesterday, I think it was. So we didn't even have time to make last minute changes. I would have probably made a few, which I'll tell you about. But before I showcase my team, Darshan Senthil has had his chance to say his. And essentially, this goes for all of you all because it's the most interactive podcast and consistent cricket podcast out there. Let us know, all you guys, Abbas Kunde, Chaitanya Baga, Nurulax Vasant, what is your uncapped 11 for IPL 2025? Now, I'll read Darshan's out. He's gone for Ayush Matre, Prab Simran, Namandi, Shashank, Ayush Padoni to lead this side, Nehal Videra, Vipraj Nigam, Harpreet Brar, Digvesh Rathi, Vaibhav Arora, Anshul Kamboj, and his impact player is Suresh Sharma or Ashutosh Sharma. So well done to Darshan for letting his names out of the bag. Now, finally, to my team then, because it is pretty much a similar look and feel of both those teams that you saw before, but I have some interesting names. I have Yash Dayal in there. I also have Vipraj Nigam in there. I think he's brilliant. You might even look at the World Cup and say, you know what, I'm one of those spin bowling hitters and a wrist spinner, more importantly. So I think Vipraj Nigam really stands out from an uncapped player perspective this year. Prab Simran, we've known his good work for a while now, so it's not a strange pick that. Priyansh Arya, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, most brilliant takeaways from a youngster perspective this year. I think 2025 will always remember these two names more than anyone else. And then you can say the same for the other player in Aniket Verma. But look, all our teams are pretty much like for like. There are a few changes here, a few changes there. My team doesn't actually have a good sixth bowler, I would say. So if one of the bowlers are having an absolute shit day, then I think I might struggle with that regard. But look, whether I'm right or wrong, you guys can let me know. Crazy 11, Avanish, yours is the best. Thanks. Akshay would probably beg to differ. Urvil, Vaibhav saying Jaydeep in terms of names over there. And Akash Madhwal. I only said Akash Madhwal, cool kid, 1, 2, 3, 4, because of the terrific Yorkers and the accuracy he has in the death. I think that gives me confidence. Numerically, you might not see anything else. Yeah, Nix.
Sorry. There have been far worse overseas bowlers who've bowled horribly in this IPL. And Akash Madhwal is not even close to how bad they have been. So, थोड़ा तो भाई margin दे देना चाहिए, at least to uncapped people. And sorry, Avanish, how does your team have Shashank Singh, but my team has Simi Singh? Explain.
I honestly think this just comes down to the copy pasting. I honestly don't know how Simi Singh is popped up there.
I get this. I had Ishan Kishan, but you had Ishan Kishan.
Fan of Ireland cricket.
I remember in the preview, I had Kishan, but he had Isha. So balanced out.
That is. Sai Kishore asking Nikhil Parajay. I don't think.
Is cap na, Baba.
No, yeah,
and the only thing I would make in hindsight is probably I would go with someone like a Shashank Singh, given his experience over Aniket Verma. Ankush, I would still hold on to him. Like 35 average, 140 strike rate. He's had a good season, so I still like him.
Personal call, personal call.
Yeah. Personal calls indeed. Jaydeep saying Urvil, Vaibhav, Prab Simran, Nehal, Naman, Ashutosh, Shashank, Vipraj Brar, Arshad, Dayal, Kamboj. Avanish, 2 leggies. Yeah, I've gone for 2 leggies. Why not?
Vaibhav Singh है कौन वैसे कौन नया खिलाड़ी है क्या या सिंह विकेट कीपर
No. Vaibhav Suryavanshi and Prab Simran Singh.
अरे
सिंह कौन बोलता है भाई ये क्या है
क्यों नहीं बोलता है ठीक तू राफा बोल सकता है वो सिंह नहीं बोल सकता है
अरे सिंह मतलब सिंह कोई भी हो सकता है
कितने सिंह कीपर से एक सेकंड कितने सिंह कीपर से आईपीएल
अरे भाई मैं वैभव सिंह मुझे लगा he got a typo he thought Prab Simran Singh
मतलब it was obvious to me because wicket keeper सिंह एक ही है साइज के लिए.
Okay, if you guys are done quarreling, we can take comments and move on. Madhwal is so underrated. He bowled a really good new ball spell versus Ara last year too, saying Darshan Senthil. And Ashutosh Sharma, yes. I mean, essentially the behest of that one innings, but I think he also gives us enough conviction to throw him there to be a good finisher. Oops, at Asian Games, nobody remembers. The Asian Games is where a lot of people have become capped. So that's, of course, a little
Oh,
sort of cap
yes.
on that.
Sorry. So then Prabh Simran also doesn't count.
Prabh
Oh, is
also
he
doesn't
capped?
count, technically. Yeah, I think he did play the Asian Games then from that regard.
I don't
So,
remember him being.
Ankit, our RC predictions for today's match. We've already given it to you guys in the first 10 minutes of the show. Go and rewind and then come back to the space we are. And guys, let's talk India detail later. But initial reactions of Harry Brooks catch, literally mine reaction was like Stokes. It reminded me of Jadoo Stokes. He's catched near the boundary line, but it slips. Bizarre. I mean, we'll speak about that as well. Right. All the IPL chat is done and dusted. We've given you guys our feel about the playoffs, who can make the final, will it be an RCB-MI final? All of that has been consumed in the last 45 minutes by the listeners right now. But we want to switch formats, and we want to switch formats because earlier this week, India announced their squad for the Tour of England, and it had a lot of surprise names. There were omissions and open secret, of course, with a few names being out. But let's talk about the WTC cycle first. Who we play, how many tests India have in the next 2-3 years, and the schedule, so on and so forth. So let's just set context, Akshay and Nikhil, first, because we know that June to August, India will be in England for 5 tests and 5 tests only, which are part of the new cycle. Then they, of course, wait to play West Indies in October. And later on this year, they have 2 tests against South Africa at home, not away, at home. Away from home, they have their assignments in Sri Lanka in August 2026, and October 2026, they go to New Zealand for just 2 series. Me and Akshay were talking about how it could have been 3, but it is what it is. So 2 test series away, Sri Lanka first, and then New Zealand. And in 2027, Jan-Feb, that's the culmination of the cycle for India in terms of 5 tests against Australia at home. So the question is, can India now aim to win the WTC with the squad that we have? When you look at that schedule and what the hand we been dealt, Nix, are you ambitious as an Indian fan to think, yaar, ye teesra final ho sakta hai in 4 years? Or do you think, you never know, with this new squad, we can't even probably think about going into the final just as yet. We need to be reserving our predictions and expectations.
Yeah, I think we need to hold on to the horses properly, eat them. I think we all left them allowed and ran amok against New Zealand, and we've seen how that has gone. So completely scarred for life. Again, the schedule is good. Varied conditions. You have England, West Indies, different things to take care of. Yes, Dukes is the common factor there, but South Africa will have bounce, Sri Lanka will have your specialist Prabhat Jaiswala waiting for you. New Zealand has always been a hallowed turf, and then Australia. So the conditions are good. Home and away differentiation is also well because West Indies, South Africa, घर पे खेलेंगे, so no dues there. Sorry, Australia away. So Australia भी घर पे. So abhi let them just start well. We don't even know how many of them will survive this entire cycle to begin with. So let's first see. We don't even know who your opener will be, who your number 3 will be. So जितना मैं वो ग्राफिक में ऊपर नीचे कंफ्यूज था, उतना ही scattered the team is about how it will shape up. So let's go one series at a time, and yeah, let's wait.
Let's wait, because the first assignment is England, and Akshay, they picked the squad. You guys did a live about it, and we'll come to getting into the nitty-gritties. But for people who don't know yet, this is how the squad looks. We'll compare it to the past squad of the 2021 tour, and we'll tell you how many survivors from that in just a bit as well. But in case you guys needed any sort of reminding, Gill to captain, first ever time in tests for India. And a lot of new names, a lot of interesting prospects. And as the thumbnail suggests in this podcast, guys, it's important to note that it literally is promise and prospect over performance. Who knows? Because Agarkar has come out in a press conference saying they've not picked someone like Sai Sudarshan by looking at his IPL performance. I don't know how much that is a lie. I don't know how much that is not true, because he averages about under 40 in the 29 first-class games he's played. So, Akshay, what are your concerns and hopes for India and England? And with this new test era, I mean, does it excite you now that the dust is settled? Do you kind of get some sort of positivity?
I'm super excited, man. Like, I actually spoke about being super excited for the England series in particular, and I probably haven't been sort of this keen on waiting for a series. But come to think of it, I think I'll be very excited for the home season as well, because finally, after I don't know, like 20 years maybe, ever since I started watching, this is the first time that Team India will be playing a home test without starting as outright favorites. Given that there's so many newcomers, there's a lot of experience, and as a bona fide member of the Underdog FC club, I think this is a good time for me to just, sort of invest in the penny stock that is this new age Team India and see it rise up, in international cricket. So I'm super excited. I'm hoping to see them. I'm hoping to see some good cricket, and importantly, I'm hoping to see how these newbies, take to international cricket. And yeah, it's going to be loads of fun, to be honest. Not just the next couple of months. I would say the next 12 to 18 months. It'll be very, very, very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me think of the third test transition I think I've seen in my life, with regards to 2013-14 being the last one when they toured South Africa away. Before that as well, if you look at even the early 2000s and how those youngsters were bled in that 2002 series, it just makes you think about how Indian cricket has kind of come a long way since. And
It's like a cricket version of, tell me you're old without telling me you're old. कितने transition देखे बताओ Indian team में.
Since the millennium, I think I've been lucky enough to see 3 transitions. People might say 2.5, 3. It depends which way you look at it. But I just want to ask Nick right now. We'll come back to that earlier question about hopes and concerns after we kind of debate everything. But India scored the last time they toured England, and it looked something like this, guys, because Kohli was still there. There was, of course, Rohit, Ashwin, Shami. The names go on. Now, the names we've highlighted are the survivors and who are going to be traveling this time around. So this is a big transition, Nikhil.
This is transition in caps, transition OP, however you want to name it. And again, as Akshay said, this is as exciting as it could be for Indian Test cricket in general, that you have so many names who will build their legacy now. We've all grown up having already seen people who we saw they will do well, and then they've gone on to do well. This is the first time we'll be actively involved in seeing some of the people who we think can do well, can they do well? And again, Test cricket, yeah, it is a different battle. So, as Akshay said, I can only be excited. Again, without any expectations of wins and losses, it's just about, oh, does Sai bat at 3? Oh, does Gill bat at 4? Okay, if he bats at 4, does Jurel start? Oh, if Jurel doesn't, does Karun start? So many questions, so many stopgap arrangements that away, okay, maybe Karun will play. Home pe to yeah, Sarfaraz has to get a game. So this is as exciting as a time and as it can be, and I think massive time for Gautam Gambhir to finally shape India's cricket career, because he's been wanting responsibility since a while. Here is your chance.
There is plenty to debate, discuss before that series, and we'll do a mega preview, and I'm pretty sure we'll bring up numbers. But just to whet the appetite, even though we're about 25 days away from first ball being bowled, just makes you think of some of the numbers, right? One thing will be put into perspective is Gill, and whether he's a natural leader, born leader, so on and so forth. But whatever he's led in his little career so far, the numbers are there to see. In T20s overall, 32 games, winning 19 of them. And of course, he still has 2 more ongoing. And then you look at the T20 internationals, it's a 100% record over there. First class, he's lost 2 out of the 4 he's captained. And list A doesn't really come into the scheme of things here. But just to paint you a picture in terms of captaincy record for Shubman Gill, that is something to consider. We will come to more details of this when we talk about the bowler's record. Just from a layman's sense, not too deep dive of an analysis, but just to guys give you a picture of how these players, in particular bowlers, have done well. We have the batter's record as well in terms of just their test matches that they played in England. So you look at Jadeja, 12 matches for a reason, because he was part of 2014, 2018, 2021. So he's the most experienced campaigner. Then there's KL, and then there's Pant, and then there's Daylight in terms of the batting. So we'll come to that. Let's talk about the potential 11 for that Leeds Test, because we saw the names, Akshay, in terms of the squad. And there's so many combinations. You gave yours, Somesh gave his, I gave mine, Nikhil gave his. 140 crore Indians have given theirs. But in all likelihood, who is a sure shot starter out of all the names that you see on the screen here?
I mean, let's take out the usual suspects: Gill, Pant, KL, Jaiswal, Bumrah. I think these 5 names, and along with, I would add Siraj as well. These 6 names are sure to begin. At least I'm hoping to. Yeah, Jadeja. I'm hoping so rather. So 7 names. So that's basically Jaiswal, Rahul to open, and then you've got Gill at 4, you've got Pant at 5, you've got Jadeja at 6, and then Siraj and Bumrah 2 bowlers. So that's 7 names sorted. Now you need a number 3. Then you need a number 7, you need a number 8, and of course you need another pacer to slot in at wherever between 9 to 11. And that is why it's so exciting, right? Something we spoke about during the live show as well. I don't think we've, at least in this millennium, ever seen India walk into a series not knowing कि 4 से 5 spots में कौन खेलेंगे. Like, you know, KL can play at the top, KL can play in the middle. Same as the case with someone like a Shubman Gill, someone like a Sai Sudarshan. So given all of this, it just means that you are curious naturally. And you also want to hope and believe that, you know what, the think tank will get their act together and they will come up with an 11 that's not just good for England, but that will hold India in high regard going forward.
Yeah, because the main debates will be there are a few big bone of contention. There is, of course, a few guys who will settle in, whether KL opens or whether KL plays at 4. We know KL will play. That's a fact. And I can write it to you. Even Nikhil and Akshay will probably agree with me on that. Before we go into Nikhil's thoughts about the first 11, and there's so much time before that test, it's anything could happen. But again, this is our first field with the names coming out on Saturday. And before we go into that, have to address a few comments. Now that we got the rid of non-performing Roko, I got renewed hope in test. Jaydeep saying Sai played 2 Ranji game, all other Julep and away games. Irani unusual and leveled FC career. Cricket for saying all these big IPL performances that some of the players are having will be exposed big time. Just wait and watch. So he's a pessimist. And Chaitanya Bhagat saying Sai Sudarshan not picked an IPL and also domestic performance. He played county in English conditions and some average also. And Neuralax with Vasan saying KL Jaiswal, the most important players, miles ahead than others in England because none of these have good experience with swing and punt and torrid form. KL, YBJ should repeat row KL 2021 long play. I mean, I beg to differ with you, Neuralax. I think there is a little bit of experience that Karun carries and hence he features in the squad. Otherwise, there's no point playing him. Surya Kumar Yadav, most runs by an Indian player right now. Thanks for that little update. We'll come back to all of that in the 12th man section. And 1 second. There was one more that I wanted to take right now. We'll take this stat later. Guys, could you give it an early thought about how many wins do we need? We'll come to all of that stuff in just a bit. And Karun can get a chance. He's been in good form. Look, this is what we've thought of as a first 11. I think Nikhil, me, and Akshay have our reservations in some way or the other, but we'll put it up on the screen right now. First of all, with Knicks, where do you disagree or agree with this 11?
Wow. I think first 5 are fine. I don't think there is any debate there. 6, I don't know how ready Nitish is. And at this point in time, I would feel Dhruv Jurel should feel very bad if Nitish is going to bat at 6. If he's not going to bowl, because the bowling is fine. I think Bumrah, Siraj, Prasidh Krishna is fine. I don't think Sundar starts. So to me, the only bone of contention there is Nitish Reddy. See, it's one thing to get your first debut series well, and we are only hoping that he'll become a long-term prospect. But it is not easy, and even in the IPL, we've seen him not flourish. There have been plenty of short balls, and you don't want to highlight a particular problem, but if it's there for people to target. So I think that's the only spot that's where there is a debate. I would actually push Jadeja up and play Dhruv Jurel in that order, or play Jurel there, or Karun Nair if you want to. I think that is the only spot open for me for debate, because the rest, I think everybody else picks themselves, and I don't see Sundar starting.
I don't see Sundar starting either. Where I have my reservations with that 11 is that I think Arshdeep starts for me. I know many people think Prasidh should start, and fair point. You guys have your valid reasons to start with Prasidh, but I just think if you're taking Arshdeep, he's played in Kent. He's amazing in terms of in-swinger, out-swinger, just not kind of bold to move to the English batters. I know some would say that They faced him and they've got a little bit of a sniff of him. I think Arshdeep starts for me without a shadow of a doubt, and Karun Nair starts for me without a shadow of a doubt. Those two names and the team sheet is a must for me. Akshay, where do you stand on that 11? And who are your must-haves? So obviously Jaiswal, KL, Gill, Sai is your must-have. 4 are must-haves for you there, and Pant, I'm guessing, is 5th.
Top 5, yeah. The top 5, and I would have Jadeja at 6. So mera top 6 confirmed. I'm actually playing Jadeja at 6 and not 7. So वो 6 तो है ही, and these 6 players are a part of the 11. It's more of a combination. I mean, it's more of a position thing and not a combination thing. So that's all right. 7, 8, I am going with what they have. This is something we spoke about during the live show as well. I am going to Nitish Kumar Reddy at number 7. I think he's shown enough to be given a chance. I do agree that Dhruv Jurel would feel hard done by, but you also have to understand. I mean, I'm just looking at it this way. Nitish Kumar Reddy, as things stand, is the incumbent. So has he done anything to merit an axe? Has he done anything to send him out of the side? Sure, he's had a bad IPL. No one's going to deny that. But should that be the metric that's used? I don't know. We saw him practicing a bit with the red ball. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the clips. You could see him actually bowling with the new red ball, like a proper red cherry. He was moving the ball. He was swinging it. So it was good to see. I don't know what role will be given to him. But if he's the 5th pacer in the side, that would go a long way in helping us, take care of any bad days that might happen to the likes of Siraj or Arshdeep on debut or anything like that. You then have a 5th pacer. Like, usually go with 4 pacers. In this case, you'll have a 5th option. I don't think I've seen India go with 5 pacers, 5 pace options in England. So that would be very fascinating and interesting. Maybe when Hardik was there in 2018, they did that. But I think Nitish Kumar Reddy as a package will add value at number 7. Number 8, Shardul over Washi starts. Maybe last 2 tests में जब Manchester खेलोगे कहीं खेलोगे drier surfaces, you can look at it. Or if that's things stand, Shardul. Arshdeep Prasid, I think right now I know right now I would want Arshdeep simply because एक तो left arm angle and secondly he moves the ball. We need someone who can swing the ball. We've got seamers. Siraj can seam the ball. So can अपना कौन है भाई Bumrah. So Prasid is more of a seamer and not a swing bowler. He doesn't move the ball in the air. At least that's not he's known for. So that's where I think Arshdeep will add a completely different dimension and complement the rest of the pace attack. So I'm definitely starting with Arshdeep.
Yeah, Arshdeep starts for me without a shadow of a doubt. Look, with Shardul and Karun there, all I would say is that I think I would start with them rather than making them my plan B. My plan B will be guys of the younger mold. So your Dhruv Jurels, your NKRs. And I think NKR also, was brilliantly drip-fed in a way into the Indian team. Obviously, I think you could say the same thing about so many other players, but India have now binned a few players. Like, for example, Sarfaraz Khan, not even there in Australia in terms of just carrying the drinks after that 150 in back-to-back 50s that he got. So a lot of questions to be asked, but I think if they are picking horses for crosses, this squad is a good one. So let's just finally give our ratings about this particular squad, guys. Who excites you the most, and what is a number that we're giving? Or if you have to give a 5-star rating, right? Is it a 4.78? Is it a 3.22? You can be specific. You don't have to be vague. Nikhil, I'll start with you here. How much are you rating this squad?
Yeah, I don't think there is a name that you would say, how is this guy not there? So even though I have a lot of time and wish that Sarfaraz should have been picked, I can still get the logic, though I don't agree with it. You should not have preconceived notions for anybody in life. So I think I would happily give them a 4.5 to 4.7, whichever way suits your boat, because I don't think there is a name that would feel, how are you going to win without him? So for me, I think most people in that squad were predictable. It's just Sarfaraz that I feel a bit bad for.
See, my hopes and concerns with this squad is that I'm hoping KL and Karun have some sort of amazing understanding. And yes, there's a lot of Karnataka bias in that, but I think those two cricketers have actually proved their salt over their years to get this kind of opportunity. Whether it's in the twilight of their career or in the fag end of the career, I think it's in a very, very important phase and series for both of them. Arshdeep, I think he will be taking like a duck to water. I generally close my eyes and I think he can take 18, 19 wickets minimum in these 5 matches. And I would like to see him play all. I know it's a really left radical thought, but why not? Because he's fit, he's young, and he's the only left arm option that we have. In terms of the other names, Abhimanyu Easwaran, I think, look, he's one classic example of why you should always keep yourselves in terms of the Ranji mold or the India A mold, because you might get these opportunities. And if India start with him as well at Leeds, I would be happy. And if they take their chance, then it shows that our domestic system is still not as bad as people are calling it. I know they'll always compare it to the good old days, but it does give you some sort of light at the end of the tunnel if you're the other players in the Ranji scheme of things right now. Before I come to Akshay's point, and points, I should say, let's just quickly take a couple that Noodle Hacks has been saying throughout since we've started this chat. One, KL can handle with players down the order. Two, he can handle the second new ball, and Pant can relax considering his form. Three, experience down the order helps players above thoughts. There is a very entertaining, enterprising thought for KL to bat at 4 and be the new Virat, while you don't change anything at the top. Maybe you go through with Iswaran, Jaiswal, Gill one down, and I know Sai fans will kill me for saying this, then KL and so on and so forth. But let's see how they play. Again, your guess is as good as mine. Noodleax also saying Jurel over Nitish unless they want a bowler so badly, or else a wild call like how India will do. YBJ, Sai, Gill, Karun, Pant, KL, Jaddu, Shardul, Bumrah, Siraj, Prasid, and the reasons he's backed it up with. Instead of Nitish Reddy or Sai Sudarshan would include Karun Nair. I've been harping this all week, and I'm glad that many people feel the way that I feel. And also, I think Shardul will be more handy than NKR, saying freaking awesome. Shardul can be big in breaking partnerships and has shown that he can score 40 to 50 runs. And look, his Sena record has been deadly. Absolutely brilliant everywhere he's played in these countries. And finally, the competition, Reddy versus Shardul, anyone in this 11, Karan versus Dhruv, Arshdeep versus Prasid, Jadeja versus Washington. There are a few players who just start for me in those choices. But again, I'll hold my thoughts back. Finally, before we kind of just exit this chat, Akshay's rating of India's squad on 5 stars. What is it? Is it close to a 4.5 at least for you with the names that we showed?
See, it's hard to rate them because one is, of course, you would rate them in absolute terms, ki boss. As a squad, how do they look? I would say they are a solid 3.7, 3.8. Matlab, they will definitely, they have the ability to punch above their weight and all of that. But if I go by Nikhil Bhai's metric, like he said, are there any players that they've let go of ki bhai, isko kaise chhod diya? I don't think that's the case. I don't think they've left any fish in the sea. So given that, it should be as close to as possible because this is the best there is. So kya karna hai?
Yeah, bro, I just wanted to ask you about if you think our bowlers are actually stronger or our batters are stronger. Where are you tilting with that? Do you think we're a bowling heavy side or a batting heavy side?
It depends on the kind of 11 they go for. Agar hum squad ki baat kar rahe hain, to I'll have to say they've gone with more batting options naturally, so they would be a batting heavy side that way. But 11 जिस तरीके से बना if they don't go ahead with what like we discussed if what I जैसे मैंने कहा Jadeja, Nitish, Shan, Shardul at 6, 7, 8 if they don't go ahead with that, then naturally they are going to try and follow the sort of proven method of 6 batters, 5 bowlers strategy that Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri pioneered. So if that's the case, I don't know if these guys, if this bunch of players, they have it in them to come up with a combination like that and execute it to perfection consistently. And of course, if you look at some of the batters and their records in England, no surprises there that Jadeja is a highest run scorer over there. But Rahul, Pant both have shown that they have the chops to succeed, in the testing conditions of England, and I'm hoping that they do come well over there. A tad bit surprised and pleasantly, of course, by Shardul Thakur's record there, 170 plus runs, 25 ka average by for a number 8. That's as good as it gets. In all fairness, Shubman Gill, that's the name that everyone's going to be watching out for. Everyone will have their guns out. Everyone will have their knives out. Everyone's just looking for a reason to jump at him. So I just hope, for his sake, for Team India's sake, for fans' sake, that he does well.
Okay.
So, very early random vibe. Would be fun if on day 1 India is 200 for 6 and Gill comes out and says, "Chalao talwar."
That'll be mad. And imagine Jadeja is actually allowing the talwar and he has a talwar celebration as well. Next, just to finish this off, and for the courtesy of this graphic, is there any merit to say that we are a bowling side, but we have to watch out that we don't get bundled for 150 or 200 on those green decks, if there are any? and that's why a bowler's record is important to note here.
Yeah, I think India have probably gone, if you say, with more bowling options in terms of variety as compared to batting ones. In batting, you are going to rely heavily on that cream of Jaiswal, Jadeja, Rishabh, KL, that they'll have to give you those massive big scores around which the other people can, contribute. So bowling will definitely be important, and that first name is going to decide the series. There is no doubt about it. And the one thing that I hope India learned from Australia is their usage of resources. Again, I sound like a broken record, but even in the IPL, we've seen it. 3 to 4 teams could have simply qualified had they just used their resources better. So uh, we lacked planning in Australia in terms of we played people who we could not bowl. You can know that you cannot do that in England because England will not leave it, and then the media will not leave it, and then Twitter rarely leaves you. So it's going to be battle with fire for the two Gs, Gill and Gambhir.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. But we have 3 more MNLs, of course, to give you all the England gossip, the build up to that tour, and what happens going forward. So, with regards to that, I think we'll stop the chat there. There's plenty of to talk about the best of the rest. We also have Akshay's quiz. So let's go on to the next segment right now and move away from the tests and the T20 section. Right, sticking with tests, even though I said let's move away from tests and T20s, England and Zimbabwe, that's one thing that we just needed a review. And if there's anything to go by, what can we see the similar things that we saw in this test compared to the series in India? Maybe the pitch, maybe not, but we saw good things. What caught your eye the most? Nikhil, I'll start with you here. Was it Ben Stokes bowling? Was it Abani? Was it... Talk to me. World is yours.
Brian Bennett. Discussed about him. We spoke about him doing well and how well. I always love people who people don't know and then they come up and then they score fastest century for Zimbabwe. Cannot ask for something more. And sorry, I have to take this moment. By Sean Williams को तुमने 88 पे कैसे out दिया? How was that an umpire's call? Kumar Dharamsena, for the love of God, please, please, please. I mean, I cannot fathom the amount of horror Soib Bashir is going to cause, or you, Avanish, are going to cause us because Kumar Dharamsena will give all these umpires calls. I don't know in whose favor. I don't know who enjoys watching. But sorry for the excruciating rant because Sean Williams looked primed for a big score. And again, nobody's saying we expected Zimbabwe to win. But they put up a fight. They were doing well. The one time when you want things to go in their favor, yeah, you give them an umpire's call like that.
That umpire's call was so bad. I mean, I saw it, and how the hell was it clipping? I thought it was definitely sliding down leg, and the bounce also just enabling it to clip the stumps. But he was going at a brisk pace as well. So Zimbabwe, plenty of silver linings for them, even though they got folded over. Akshay, the one thing from the Zimbabwe test, 2 things, and 2 players more particularly. Muzarabani taking that flight out and coming into the scheme of things. But also Sikandar Raza, now he played that test match. Apparently had dinner in Birmingham. He drove to Dubai, had lunch there, then took a flight from Abu Dhabi to Pakistan, played the PSL final, hit the winning runs. That is some couple of days.
Yeah, man. I mean, talk about, being in the thick of things. Just, I don't know where I stand on it, to be honest, because a part of me is very happy for him, of course. But a part of me is also like, you know what, we should stop romanticizing it. Like, it's unfortunate that he's had to do all of this because he doesn't want to let go of that tournament. It's not like he's playing it just for the love of the sport. Okay, like, because usko pata paise nahi se banenge. He's doing well. Like, there's so many other things that go into it, but of course, I'm not going to be a buzzkill. Very happy for him to have done a phenomenal job of taking the game till as far as Zimbabwe did and then winning the game for Rahul Qalandars, of course. But thoda sa wo mixed bag jaisa hai. Yeah, exactly. He wasn't even in the stadium, by the way. He was part of the squad. He was named in the 11 without him being in the stadium. He apparently arrived about 12 minutes before the start of play. Just absolutely random. How on earth do you just play top tier cricket, having flown, having traveled so much? It's just crazy.
You could have
Yeah, it's
simply
hilarious.
said Raza is a Sikandar for a reason. That would have been a very nice Hindi line to encapsulate Sikandar Raza. But I slightly disagree with Akshay that it's a privileged position to be in, that you are sought after like this, that people want you. And again, it's the kind of times we live in that even Blessing Muzarbani, for that reason, is come in, is played. We had Shanaka doing it in the past as well. We had Mustafizer playing at T20 in UAE. Again, understandable next day in India, but I don't know. At this point of time, I'll take people who are left field getting picked for in the first place, and then maybe cricket getting in a better stage where all this is better managed.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I was just thinking about so many players who've done it in the past. I think there was once where Mohammad Ahmed went from 4 competitions and ended up at the Vancouver airport to play the Canada
Rashid
team
himself.
over there. Rashid, Narayan, Russell. There's so many cases. There's so many of them. But Sikandar Raza tops the chart purely because Zimbabwe not playing a test in England for 20 years and PSL heroics as well, not just to play in it, but to finish it and be part of the whole climax was insane. A word on Brooks chat before ending the England-Zimbabwe chat. One of the best I've seen in this year's any format cricket, I think. Brilliant reflexes for slip spin. What do you feel?
Yeah, अच्छा catch था. I'll be honest with you. अच्छा catch था. But जिस तरीके से react किया ना मैं, और like भाई कैप्टन ग्रीन ने जब कोहली का catch लिया तभी इतना reaction था भाई. ठीक है, good catch. I'm not going to diss on the catch, but sometimes I really wonder यार, अगर मीडिया आपके पास होना, narrative हो, तो क्या कुछ हो सकता है. कुछ मतलब a good catch, but just the way it was, भाई साहब, like no one could have ever grabbed it. ऐसा क्यों बना दिया? I don't know. Nikhil bhai can probably shed some light on it.
नहीं, more light, more focus के ठीक है भाई. Ben Stokes, I can understand he's shocked, but he can be shocked by anything in life. So I'll leave his reaction apart. I just feel we need to celebrate more people. Again, this is not being a buzzkill for England ke bhai, but it just at times feel that whatever England do, it's shoved down your throat. See how well they did. Of course they did well, and they will do well. Brook is a great catcher. But I mean, I'm nothing against you, relax. It is just some of that England के साथ बहुत भरा हुआ है. So sorry.
Let's see how it goes, man. Honestly, it just makes you think about England more. And then, of course, when Zimbabwe will play Test cricket against England in England again, will it be 20 years or not? Right. Speaking about England, Ireland as well is playing, and they're hosting West Indies. And for an ODI series, I don't know where this graphic came up. I don't even know why people are tampering back at the end for no rhyme or reason. For no rhyme or reason. My hands are here, and they're putting up a Shubman Gill graphic right now. And they're going back to England. Just leave it. Just leave it, mate. Anyway, West Indies, Ireland. Akshay, obviously West Indies have not been a good ODI team for a while now, and they missed the last World Cup. They're building up to the next World Cup, and they're finding a few heroes. Casey Carty, back-to-back hundreds for them. Maybe you could add Justin Greaves as well. I've liked what he's done this series, but looking at some of the highlights in fan code. And also, apparently they got their second highest ever ODI score in terms of 385 for 7. So the series has ended 1-1. Do you think West Indies can actually even think of being in Afghanistan in ODIs right now? Are they really rock bottom in ODI cricket and they're climbing their way up eventually? Would you see it like that?
There does seem to be an upward trajectory, not going to lie, with the kind of talents coming in, because make no mistake, Ireland is not just a random side that they have to beat every day, and this wasn't even an upset, Ireland winning that first ODI. So for West Indies to actually put up a fight and win the third ODI, अच्छी बात है. And given that this wasn't even a full strength 11, make no mistake, when the likes of Purin come in, so it would be a lot better. So I was happy with Casey Carty's 100. I saw that. I saw Matthew Ford's 50, of course. 58, if I'm not wrong, of 19 balls. Bhai, matlab, maza aa gaya dekh ke. Very good. Again, very good signs for them to see that they've got now enough batting. Once again, it reminds you of, I won't say batting of the year because मैंने देखा नहीं है, but जो T20 उनका जो template था ना, when they won the 2012 and the 2016 World Cup, they had good batting depth, they had a lot of bowling options. This seems to be, reminiscent of that. So good to see that happen. And I'm hoping that, you know what, the likes of Roshan Chase and everyone, I know it's sort of a mixed feeling for people ki bhai test captain bana diya, but I hope he also, you know, manages to play the role of that anchor. He becomes the anchor, the glue that holds the entire middle order together. So yeah, I'm expecting good things from them in the near future.
Yeah, that innings that you talked about, crazy 56 runs in boundaries out of the 58. I mean, normally in any sort of cricket knock, that is quite staggering for a boundary percentage. Nick's West Indies and Ireland, anything which caught your eye? I think the Irish batters looked decent in the first game, but then after that, they didn't really look themselves. So a word on both teams, please, really quickly.
Firstly, I like the look of West Indies in terms of the people that are coming in. Some personal favorite bias there. Roshan Chase is also there at Test captain. So, bhai, I have not smiled as much for a non-India or big three nation news as much. Oh, Roshan Chase Test captain because all-rounders FC there. I think it's good that Amir Jangu kind of people are also coming through and they're getting games because it's important to see and not getting typecasted. We'll only hit sixes, will not rotate and all of that. So Shai Hope plays a major role there, captain keeper there. So good signs again for Ireland. Always love to see Barry McCarthy among wickets. He was there in the first ODI as well. Second ODI maybe wicket liya. So it is good. You have new people coming in. And ODI format I always love. Though I would want some more runs for Harry Tector. It's been a while I saw a Harry Tector special. So that is something that I'm waiting for from Ireland's perspective.
Yeah, more to come from that series. In fact, England, West Indies play each other. And let's just bring in that what to watch graphic because I'll tell you what is to watch this week in terms of cricket viewing. LSG asked me tomorrow. We're not doing a watch along for that. But of course, catch the coverage of cricket.com in terms of the stats and all the social media bits. Pakistan, Bangladesh, they're playing a T20 series. And they're I think starts on Wednesday. It does start on Wednesday. Thursday is, of course, England-West Indies, the first ODI that we're talking about, because West Indies Ireland resume after the England-West Indies series because it's all in the UK. We're doing watch-alongs for those three games, so pen it down in your calendars. Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. It'll be something to behold with regards to the IPL itself. Right. Two more segments left in the Monday Night Live, and it is, of course, answering your questions in the 12th man segment. But before that, as always, Akshay's quiz. Apparently, it didn't have a winner in Howzzaat, but we'll get more details right now from the quiz master. Right, Akshay, over to you. And no winner last week, really?
Yeah, unfortunately, no winner. I feel like the blame has to be on me. I was in two minds ki ek hint do na do, which is why I thought, you know what, let me actually make it a bit more interesting. With that question itself, since we also want, a winner, of course, yeah, like it just mentions. But since we want a winner, since we want more people to come in, I'll give a hint. And before we move on to this week's Howzzaat, in the live chat, if you guys get the answer right, then of course we'd be more than happy to host you because we also want to talk to you guys just as keenly as you guys want to talk to us. But coming to the question, of course, when KKR faced RCB on Saturday, of course, this is the last Saturday, 17th of May, we're talking about. After an 8-day break, they became the first ever team to achieve a unique feat. Arguably, such an instance might never occur again, ever. What are we talking about? I just add a hint here. Of course, one of you guessed about this being the longest break and all. 2021 we had a 6-month gap, so nothing's going to be that possibly. But what I would say is the only hint I'll give you is this has something to do with the fact that the Punjab Delhi game records were completely erased. They were completely eliminated. The fact that that game got erased meant that KKR is now the answer to this trivia question. So I'm going to ask you once again. Because that Punjab Delhi game that was happening in Dharamshala and that had to be stopped midway, the records of that game got completely erased. KKR became the first ever team to achieve a unique feat. Arguably, such an instance might never occur again, ever. What are we talking about? So let us, there you go. Chalo, congratulations. Well done. It was one of those things where I knew कि hint दूंगा तो बहुत आसान हो जाएगा, ना दूं तो बहुत मुश्किल. So into my, but congratulations, Darshan. Very quick, I must say. So good thinking that. Well done there. So do get in touch with us on X, and we'll be happy to host you next week. So congratulations, right? Coming to this week's, this week's Howzzaat. There you go. It's a simple chart. All I want you guys to do is tell me, what does this chart indicate? Once again, it has all seasons. Unfortunately, data wrapper पे ये alternate years ही होता है. I tried changing it, but download section पे वो update नहीं हो रहा था. But it's got every season 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So don't get confused by the alternate years. That's just the chart mentioning it. So you see just one instance in 2008 and just one instance in 2025. But beige mein, it's gone up, it's come down. All I want you guys to tell me is, what are we referring to here? What are these instances we're talking about? Another clue, in 2008, the instance happened with RR, and in 2025, the instance happened with SRH. Once again, just sort of to ensure that this isn't extremely vague, just to be clear, once again, this chart indicates the number of instances that number of instances of a certain incident in every season. In 2008, it happened just once. In 2025, it happened just once. In 2008, it was with RR. In 2025, it was with SRH. All I want is for you guys to identify what are we talking about here. Like always, please wait for the live stream. Do not enter your answers in the live chat. You're only going to help your fellow viewers. Wait for the live stream to end. Enter your answers in the main comment section in order to remain eligible to talk to us in one of the MNL episodes.
Yeah, I mean, please do, because this week we ideally could have got another guest on, but I don't think they were available. So we'll
AJ Ragnarok, MI fan, I'm guessing he's busy with the MI game. Did not get in touch with us, but AJ, if you do, like Avanish said, please do get in touch with us.
Yeah, because we've been enjoying that. We've been getting all our loyal fans actually, and to see them as well is brilliant. Quick info cheekily saying Avanish is basically vanished, silent in his name for the Akshay Howzzaat segment. And first team to play 2 back-to-back games. Again, reserve your answers for the time that this podcast is over. It's almost over, but we have, of course,
Tell me you disappeared without telling me you disappeared.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is true. Let's move on then, guys. 12 seconds. Right, so many comments which is whizzed past us in the last 1 hour, which we'll take for sure. Why Mushid Khan not there in the India A squad? Asking Nikhil Parajaya. Mushid, I think, has been one of the names that I actually like in that mold of maybe an Ankush Raghuvanshi in terms of looking for long-term prospects in dead ball cricket. Any reason why he doesn't feature next in that India A squad?
Not quite sure, to be very honest. Not updated on his fitness concerns as well, if at all there are any. So not quite sure. The only guy I'm not quite happy for in terms of India is Shreyas ke liye jagah tha kya? But yeah, maybe too far.
Yeah.
Average too far.
Yeah. Just one thing, right? I think Mushid Khan is quite low in that pecking order. That must have been the only reason. Possibly. Because there's so many batters right now. वो India A squad भी देखोगे, किसके बदले खिलाओगे? Same question. अगर आप लाना भी चाहते हो तो किसके बदले आएगा वो भी नहीं पता.
Okay. Akshay, Cricket Pro saying, bro, you guys aren't estimating West Indies too much. West Indies are definitely a good team. The pitch favors them a little bit. I do remember how they smashed Pakistan in the 2019 World Cup, don't you? But that was a long time ago. And I know that our new teams, but Akshay, where do you stand in this? Do you think West Indies with the new names, absolute non-household names, can probably ruffle a few feathers, even though it's 2 years time from now in the World Cup?
They can, but again, cricket for by that logic, I can talk about the 1970s and 80s ka West Indies team and say, "Arey bhai, how can you underestimate them?" Ball time, matlab, players have changed. Like at best, there are like 3 or 4 players from that setup who are a part of this setup. But we're not underestimating. Right? We were telling the very same thing. Hey, boss, you know what? This is a side that is on the upward curve, so it is good to see them do well. And I hope I'm audible at least, because clearly my internet's giving me some trouble over here.
Yeah. It feels very weird. He removed his specs and the stream got weird, and now he's back pen level.
Yeah, it's weird. It's honestly weird. But bear with us. Avanish, please remember, Akshay, this is in RCB 3.7 really, and I feel we look at batting heavy, but I feel we're bowling heavy with Siraj, Prasidh, Bumrah, Jadoo, Kuldeep. There is a case to argue that it might be a batter light, but again, only time will tell how all of those things kind of go through. Kasperint saying why this IPL has been both so boring.
Yeah,
Or
aspirant है मेरे भाई.
Sorry,
आप
my
ये
bad.
टॉपर Netflix पे देखते हो.
There was another guy in the watch along. There was another guy in the watch along who had his name is Go Under, and I called him as Gown There or something like that, which is hilarious. So why has it been boring? I don't know. Because of the resumption, the war, the weather. You guys can guess.
Yeah. Even otherwise, I don't think we've seen as many close games in terms of thrill finishes and all of that. Games invariably have been interesting, but I think the game's tactical side, reverse swing, and all of that has ensured some of that fun is gone out of the window. That 9 out of 6 is not being chased, and then you see some teams just not being there. नहीं मैं बोला वो फिर भी अच्छा था. You had such instances 9 of 6 वाले, but उसके बाद नहीं ऐसा कुछ हुआ है जहाँ पे you like oh super over हो गया या something like that.
Yeah. And I feel we've also been spoiled by the 24 season. Just to close that out, 24 इतना हमने run देख लिया कि हमें लगा कि फिर से वही होगा. So it is a welcome change, and I hope people also get used to this now.
Yeah, moving from the IPL to the Test cricket stretch again. Keg before wicket had this one for us earlier. We'll give selectors a 5-on-5 for the selection, majorly because barring Sarfaraz, there aren't any obvious options. As long as we play 4 paces, we're good, at least in favourable conditions. And Naseem Khan saying, can we rate the batting, bowling, and overall team separately? Look, batting I would give 4. Bowling I would probably give a 4.2. And general vibes I would go for just over the 4 mark. With regards to, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, aura, I don't know. I don't get the same aura as obviously the Virat era compared to any other Test team. But again, I want to hold my reservations back because this is a new India. Let's see if this is going to be a new blueprint from GG more than Shubman Gill himself. But where do you guys stand in this? Do you think the batting, bowling, and thing they all have like same ratings, or is it different for each? Nick?
I think it'll take a time. Asim, I think we'll do a lot more deeper dive into each aspect of this once the series is closer to us, because then I think it will be fair. Abhi a lot of our judgment may seem like we are clouded or not clouded by the IPL results and IPL numbers in mind. So let's get the IPL out of the way, and then we can dive deeper into this entire deep dive of all 3 departments and see where they stand.
Okay, but we still have a few more from a Test perspective, so we'll just take that off because Asim Hans, I'll give this one to Akshay because he had NKR in his 11. Are we qualifying as an all-rounder in this potential 11 or as a pure batter? What's your stance, Akshay?
A batting all-rounder in the 11 primarily for his batting, will be used as the bowler if and when needed. It's not like he is one of those bowlers who has to be used. Agar aapka, matlab, if your first choice bowlers are doing well, then you don't have to fall back on Nitish. But if that isn't the case, or if someone's having an off day, then Nitish can come in to fill up, come in to just, bowl from one end. So that's it, a batting all-rounder.
Okay, guys, give an early thought or approximately how many wins we need to make the WTC final and the WTC Cycle 4, and how many wins can we have realistically. I think if you look at what we showed you earlier, the graphic, it just makes you think about some games which are literally banker wins, but after India losing to New Zealand with that team, anything can happen anywhere. But if you guys missed it, we of course had this graphic to show. And again, Sri Lanka away is not going to be so easy, but we do have good spin options. South Africa at home, I think we should get a win or maybe 2 there, similar with the West Indies. But it starts in England, and if you get walloped 4-0, dare I say, then you're playing catch up big time in that series. So it all is about ebbs and flows. We have a few more to take. Will PVKS chase this total coming back to the IPL? We hope so. So it'll be a good game from a neutral perspective. But again, your guess is as good as mine. More on that game, and Zenith giving us some stats about Sky and how he's kind of come through, and very good tactics and appreciation lauded from his perspective. There was one more, I think, comment coming through from Guy Ritchie saying, what is the Avanish's team? I'll tell you guys, my team, I've spoken about it in the watch along as well. But like Nick just said, we'll have so many more shows that we can actually give you our concrete 11s 3 days prior to the Test. I mean, that'll only be fair. But if you guys want to know, I said this in the watch, and I'll just repeat myself. Jaiswal to start for me. There will be, of course, Iswaran, who I will start with, and I will go for Sai, Gill, Pant, Karun, Jadeja, Shardul, Arshdeep, Bumrah, Siraj. So no process for me, no Dhruv Jurel, and no NKR for me. But that's just me. One more comment is this. Choice of venues is interesting for the South Africa tour, August in Australia. But why in GBR the only game was played in 1992? I mean, dude, essentially they're just trying to expand the game, as I see it. I mean, again,
one more reason, I think, is weather. August is usually winter there. Matlab July, August is winter season. Sydney sees snowfall. Melbourne bhi kafi thanda rehta hai. Great Barrier Reef is further up north, like, Brisbane and all of it. I'm guessing that also would have played a role. But like Avanish also mentioned, the idea must also be to expand to new venues. But I think weather's also played a role over here. And the fact that दूसरी season में, वो football खेलते हैं भाई, बहुत MCG, all of these are multi-purpose stadiums. None of them are cricket-only stadiums. So when it's not the cricketing summer, it is something else going on. So that's why your first choice venues won't be available usually.
Okay, interesting. Right, guys, we'll leave it there because it's been one hell of an MNL again, number 81 and all of that. So if you guys have just joined us, please smash a like, tell a friend, share this video to many people as possible. And there's great things to check out on cricket.com. So go check it out. What are you waiting for? Not to forget, there is, of course, the small matter of our watch-alongs this week and few other things that will hit your screen on cricket.com's YouTube platform. Akshay, Nikhil, thank you so much for your time. There is plenty of content, like I see, and there is going to be the live game going on right now. If you guys didn't check out the live show on Saturday, go check it out. And of course, go check out Office Vibes, where Akshay has spoken about it. I've spoken about it. All the people, the thumbnail is also there to see. With that note, thanks for watching. And it's a goodbye from all of us. Cheers. Stay safe. Have a lovely week ahead.